Good afternoon, Colin here with Techout, and it has been about 24 hours now since I received my Galaxy S25 Ultra, and just like I did for the OnePlus 13, I'm going to do a first 24 hours, kind of first week, and maybe like a 2 week or a month follow-up on my experience with the with the S25 Ultra. Did I say S24 before? I don't know. Anyway, I'm coming from the S24 Ultra, so we are talking about the S25 Ultra. And I got it all set up yesterday. As soon as I got here, I pretty much mirrored my setup from the S24 Ultra with the exception of some of the stuff for the new widgets and the now brief and all that kind of stuff on this phone that isn't on the S24 Ultra yet until it gets the stable One UI 7 update. But I want to talk about battery life so far. Obviously, we're not going to stress about it because the phone is still optimizing. Even if I go into these settings and go down to battery, it still says learning usage patterns. So we're not going to stress about it, but I do want to cover it because a lot of people do ask, what's your day one battery life like? What's the battery life like so far? All that kind of stuff. We'll talk about the new S Pen, all that kind of stuff in this video. So first things first is compared to the S24 Ultra, this phone is much easier to hold and it feels a lot better in the hand. This phone, the S24 Ultra, being kind of half rounded, half not, your fingers tend to slip to one side or the other, the front or the back. So it's a little bit harder to hold. It feels a little bit more slippery. Now, when that phone came out, everybody loved it because people were kind of going away from wanting a curved screen. So that was like a happy medium. But now that the S25 Ultra is out with the squared sides, just like when the iPhone went to the squared sides, a lot of people loved it. And I'm one of those people. I think it's a lot easier to hold on to because you can just grip a flat surface. Your finger's not slipping side to side, or top to bottom rather, I guess. Stuff like that. Screen is basically pretty much the same as the S24 Ultra. I don't really notice any changes or worthwhile improvements. But the S24 Ultra had a really good screen in my opinion, so I don't have any issues with that. Battery life seems to be a little bit better. Again, we were downloading apps, we were testing the phone out, probably using the phone a little bit more than normal, playing around with it because it's new. But it's been unplugged now since for about 2 hours and 35 minutes, and we're at 84%. So over the past today, which does include earlier in the morning because it was past midnight when I plugged it in, 3 hours of screen on time. So that's not 3 hours from 84 to 100%. There was some charging in there, but overall, pretty good battery life nonetheless. We'll get into more testing with that kind of stuff as the phone is a little bit older and, more optimized and stuff like that. It's finished with its background task and app downloading, and I'm not playing with it as much. That kind of stuff, just normal day-to-day usage. The S Pen, we did do a test on this. What happens if you put the S Pen from the S24 Ultra into your S25 Ultra, and I even showed putting this S Pen in my S24 Ultra. This S Pen will go in the S24 Ultra. It will work with the screen, but the bottom of this one is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit thicker right there on the tip, so it sticks out of the S24 Ultra more so than that one does. One thing I want to mention about this phone is the S Pen on here does not stick out at all, whereas this one on the S24 Ultra, you can pull it out with your nail almost because it has a little bit of a catch there. So you can catch that on stuff and pull it out on the 24. 25 it does not have that issue, which is really nice because I did have that one pop out a few times where in my pocket it would catch on something, it would just like halfway pop out. Performance on this phone, no issues whatsoever, top notch. One UI 7, stable, really smooth. We should be getting probably a day one update, hopefully in the next week or two. We are supposed to be getting battery health stats on here as well, which some people want, some people don't. Some people hate looking at them, but I am for it. I do want to see the charge cycles and battery health and all that kind of stuff on here. Some devices do have it, I believe, depending on what firmware you have or what country you're in, what region the phone's from. Here in the US, it's not showing up yet, but Jeff Springer over at Sammy Guru said he did confirm with Samsung that is coming in an update. So hopefully probably the next update or so, we should see that. I've uploaded all my case videos, so you can see some of the magnets with the charging. It does have Qi 2, it's Qi 2 ready, so it doesn't have a built-in magnet, but if you get a case with a magnet on it, like the Samsung Clear one, or the Spigen one that I show on my channel, you can Qi 2 charge, which gives you about 15 watts of wireless charging. 15 to 20 is what I was seeing in my testing. So about 30% would take you about 45 minutes to charge. And that was the last 30% from 70 to 100%. So it's probably a little bit slower during that 30% than it would be if you're going from like 10 to 100 or 20 to 100. So I would say probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours charge time using the magnetic charger, where I see about 50 to 55 minutes plugging it in to a full super fast charge 2.0 compatible charger. If you're not using Qi 2 charging, I was seeing about an hour and 30 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes of charge time for just a regular wireless charger. So take that with a grain of salt, because it depends on your battery percentage, temperature, all that kind of stuff. But having the Qi 2 charger and a Qi 2 compatible case definitely does speed up that wireless charging just a little bit. But right now in my testing, it seems to be negligible about how much speed you actually get. It's like sometimes the difference between 20 minutes, sometimes it's like 40 or 45 minutes. So like I said, it really just depends on that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my day one experience with the S25 Ultra. I'm still getting some things set up, getting some apps downloaded and set up again and sign back in and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be doing more testing, and I'll follow up in about a week or so with another review video. And of course, we'll be doing some little snippets here and there of some accessories and all that kind of stuff with the One UI 7 on here, as well as the S25 Ultra itself. I'm Colin with Techout. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and as always, have a great day.